Los Angeles. The enthusiastic crowd heard their candidate ask them for the biggest upset ever. We have more on the Mondale campaign in this report.
Walter Mondale's California farewell had a star-studded supporting cast. Top names from the entertainment world shared the stage with big-name Democrats, surrounded by a crowd of up to 20,000 in downtown LA's Pershing Square. Unlike the Reagan campaign, which is content with measuring the size of the expected victory, Mondale supporters are hitting at one particular buzzword: upset.
Harry Truman scored the upset of all time in '48. Turn around 48, and what do you get? 84. Walter Mondale and Geraldine Ferraro.
With two former presidential challengers among those cheering him on, Mondale went to the task.
Tomorrow we can prove that the pollsters are wrong. We can prove that polls don't vote, people vote in this country. Tomorrow we can prove that this country does not belong to the slick magazines who picked your president for you. This country belongs to you, and you're taking it back in your hands.
He also made a strong selling point of his running mate.
Secondly, we can make history tomorrow, really make history, by electing Geraldine Ferraro Vice President of the United States.
Mondale supporters had traveled from all over Southern California to hear his message, all knowing that tomorrow would bring a history-making decision, all of them hoping that Walter Mondale could do the seemingly impossible. The end of the long campaign finds Walter Mondale hoping for the same kind of upset victory that put Harry Truman in the White House for a second term. In just a few hours, the poll that really counts gets underway. Election Day, 1984. In downtown...
Conscience will leave them a legacy. Make it one of economic opportunity for all, of a Supreme Court free to judge for liberty, of an end to the arms race at last. The face of the future is in your hands.
I want your generation and all generations in American history to get the very best. I want you to learn. I want you to challenge yourself. I want you to stretch that mind. I want you to think of new things and dream of new dreams. I want your life to be thrilling, and I want to help you.
Mondale and the vice presidential candidate Geraldine Ferraro.
This election is not only about opening doors of opportunity. This election is about the future.
Some say you can't win the presidency on the values of decency, fairness, and economic opportunity. But if one of us can't win on those values, then none of us can. For those values are America. Tuesday, your vote does matter for all of us. Do what's right. Mondale Ferraro. They're fighting for...
We can prove that a president who ducks and runs, who surrounds himself with a question-free zone, who comes to the American people as this president does tomorrow without having given one single answer about where he intends to take us in the future, we can tell the American people that when a president insults our intelligence every day, he'll pay a price on Election Day.
Mondale has tried a generous handful of themes through his campaign: fairness, the budget deficit, the Beirut bombing, nuclear arms, presidential competence, and Reagan's unwillingness to spell out his second-term agenda. None of those issues has really caught fire for Mondale, but he tried most of them again in his campaign wrap-up. Mondale told his supporters they can make history tomorrow by reversing the path Reagan has followed.
Let it be us. Let it be us. If it is, as long as you live, you'll remember coming here today.
On election eve, the Reagan campaign backed off on its earlier optimistic talk of a 50-state sweep. And the Mondale people started to move at least a couple of states from doubtful to winnable. Massachusetts, a case in point. Reagan advisors now say 40...
Final rally here in downtown Los Angeles. He called on the crowd of roughly 15,000 to send the Reagan administration a message.
We can tell the American people that when a president insults our intelligence every day, he'll pay a price on Election Day.
In spite of predictions of a Reagan landslide, Mondale told his supporters to ignore the polls.
Tomorrow we can prove that the pollsters are wrong. We can prove that polls don't vote, people vote in this country.
The polls, though, do show...
On the other hand, he told the crowd, if we make history...
that it was at this rally on this day that we begin the long, decent march into America's future.
A full third of his speech was devoted to his running mate, Geraldine Ferraro, calling her the best choice he'd ever made.
Tomorrow, you can make history.
Thank you very much.